everybody, welcome to the Thrive Project. I am here today with Michelle, my good friend. I call her Mishy. She's amazing. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, you're welcome. I'm happy to be
here. It's so good to have you. Mishy is such a longtime family friend. She's just amazing. She's been a patient at my parents' practice, health and balance, and we've just lived so many amazing life moments together.
Yes,
grown up with you around.
Yes.
And I've always just been so inspired by you, just the way you carry yourself, the way you express love and joy. I just really look up to you, so that's why I wanted to have you on.
I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you. So Michelle is a teacher, and she teaches international students cultural acquisition and English, and she also is a singer and has many passions and many talents that she uses in this world to spread love and goodness and everything. So she's going to tell us about that journey and about living a meaningful life and all those good things. So tell us a little bit about what you do and kind of that journey that you've been on of, you know, finding what it is that gives you fulfillment and meaning and everything like that.
Well, let's see. I studied early childhood development at Cal State Fullerton, and I knew I wanted to work with people. I wanted to be in service, and I wanted to help people. So I tried nursing for a while, and then I moved into education, and did a little bit of teaching here in Laguna at the elementary school level, and was given an opportunity to make a big life change at one point about 20 years ago. Having raised a couple of children that were my former husband's kids, that was a great learning experience, and there were a lot of wonderful times. But it was time to make a change, so I actually left Laguna and moved to Florence, Italy.
So amazing.
And this was before Under the Tuscan Sun, so it was like, but I think it's a story that that has been told many times. It's like we reinvent ourselves at certain points in our life. At different ages, it can be younger, it can be older, but when there's a calling or an opportunity, if you will, to make a big brave step.
Yes.
That's exciting, and it's not for everybody, right? But I felt right about going that way, and I actually went with my mom, Janice. She said, why don't we go to Italy to have an adventure?
Oh,
so cool. We didn't know if it was going to be for a long time or a short time. It was going to be just for a while. But I stepped into that place and knew that that was where I wanted to be. And immediately joined the Voices of Joy Gospel Choir.
I love that. Voices of Joy. That's so true.
With Nehemiah Brown, our director, an American. And the choir was like half Americans, half Italians, and international people. So singing became my passion then, and I toured all over. We did telethons, and I became a soloista, and really that fulfilled me. But at the same time, I started teaching English in Italy.
Oh, cool!
Started with a group of bambini, children, and I didn't have any materials, so I started drawing and making up materials and doing it intuitively, and found it very joyful, super joyful. So there I was working with children again, but in a new language. Of course, I didn't know Italian. So anyway, long story short, I got to swim in the pool over there in a new, interesting, beautiful, ancient, artistic land, and fell deeply in love with it. And my love of teaching also grew, and I took a TEFL certificate course over there and was able to get a job working at an international school, boarding school in Switzerland for a while.
Oh, cool.
So I lived in and taught in Italy and in the Czech Republic and in Switzerland for 3 years.
Oh, so amazing.
And really fell in love with it, and really didn't think I would come back here except to visit friends and family. But then I met my Johnny, and everything changed. And that was when I was 37. So a lot of my friends who are younger, fellow teachers who are single, they see my love affair with my husband now of nearly 18 years, and they're like, what is your secret? I said, it's just a big, beautiful blessing. We're blessed. I can't explain it, but when you get the chance to spend your life like with your mom and dad, they're another perfect example of just a really blessed couple. Everything changed. And so I moved home to be with him, and got a job teaching straight away at Chapman University. I left my choir, which was the hardest thing to do in my church. And so, but I felt like it was what was in my path, and it felt like the right thing to do, and I think it was love. Obviously, love brought me home. Love didn't take me there, but I found myself again, I think. Really got to know who I was, and got to praise and sing and worship in a way I never had through singing. And so that, to me, was the most healing, beautiful thing. And then discovering my joy of teaching. So that's kind of an introduction to how I got to where I am at this sort of second part of my life. I was always a singer, but I sang country, rock, and blues, and rhythm and blues, and don't really have as much of an interest in singing that. So I'm actually praying for another chance to sing gospel. And it may be up to me. Because I've been waiting for a while. I've been praying about it. Okay, maybe it's up to me.
I know, right?
So,
God's like, okay, here you go.
What are you waiting for? You'd be surprised how much you can accomplish when you believe. Listen to that part that says, well, if it's going to be, it's up to me. Yeah.
Totally. I love that. I feel like I'm kind of in that season of life right now, you know, praying for certain things in my life, and I'm like, okay, I'm just waiting, God, you know, and I just felt him kind of urge me, like, go ahead, you know?
There you are, you're creating this, which is a way of communicating and being in service to your community. And it's a way to let yourself receive as well.
Totally.
And it's so a pleasure.
And
I know. So you created this, so good for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was one of the things. It's like, I thought about it for so many years, you know, and then I was just like, if it's going to be, I just got to go for it, you know? I love that.
See, it's brave. It took some bravery.
Took some
Coraggio. It took courage.
I love that. Coraggio. That's what we all need. So did you kind of sense, like, a pattern of how God kind of led you throughout your life? Like, have you seen, like, oh, I noticed that when I feel like this, it's God kind of leading me into something new?
Well, God is love. And I felt the path of love. I mean, first of all, leaving Laguna, it was love for myself. I had to learn to love myself. And God gave me that gift. I'm going to cry.
That's okay, you can cry here.
And then coming home, also I was led by love, and that God's hand is in love. Because that's what he does for us. So, but as far as my teaching, which is one of my greatest joys, is being in service, reaching out and helping to heal and helping to help others reach for their dreams. There's nothing better. So I teach well, this summer I'm not, but I have been teaching at Cal State Fullerton in an academic English, intensive English program called the American Language Program. I taught there for close to 13 years after spending some time at Chapman University after I moved home. So our students come from all over the world. And so in one class I'll have students from Russia and Taiwan and Korea and Greece and Argentina and Japan and Vietnam.
That's amazing.
And Iraq and Kuwait and Oman, and in one class. And China, of course. So and there are more populations in the combination of the demographics. So for me, primarily it was so humbling to be given the gift to be able to be the one that they look to learn from. And in the process, I mean, you've heard this, I'm sure, a million times, that when you teach, your students are your teachers. And so I've learned so much about the world.
I'm sure.
And about cultures and the fabric and the depth of values and belief systems and taboos. And it's just been such a huge gift for me. And then the gift I get from my students I mean, it's a love affair. It's truly a love affair. We become family, and I'm still in touch with students from all over the world, and have an open invitation to visit them and their families anytime.
So sweet.
We've traveled to a number of different places and visited students while we're there, and it's I think what it really comes from is that, first of all, God's hand in this is huge, because the world needs love now more than ever. And so given the chance to have a conversation with my students about the future and how when they go home, I plead with them. I say, please, take the heart that has opened here. Because I ask them to leave their fear at the door. When they come into my class, I say, it's like a coat, Fear is good. It protects you. And at the same time, you're excited and you're eager and you're anticipating these things, but there is fear, and that's normal. I said, but please, when you come into my classroom, please take your fear off like a coat. And leave it right there. And you can put it back on when you go out, but you're in a safe place. So creating vulnerability like that,
I love that.
in any endeavor, if you have that opportunity to create vulnerability and trust. And once that's sort of been established, and it doesn't happen right away, I invite them to open their minds, and then I invite them to open their hearts, and to not be surprised by things that are new, but to be open to them, and they don't have to agree, but they get to learn. And so at the same time, I'm learning all this cool stuff about them and their culture. I mean, it's just remarkable. And so for me, I think the word would be reverence for people of all cultures. And I ask them to please take what they've learned here and share it when they go home, and let people know that we're not the cookie cutter image that they see, and it doesn't mean that everyone is reflected like our politicians, and that really we all have the same blood running through our veins, and we're all vulnerable, and we're all hopeful. And I mean, it's always like we're all crying and hugging at the end of the semester. So, it's a true blessing, and I feel really lucky to be able to be in this field. And if you can find that place where you feel like you're in service, it could be in anywhere you go. If you go to the gas station, if you go to Home Depot, have an open heart and understand, it's a Christian, that's God's hand, right? It's about understanding that we all have fears, and we all are vulnerable, and
Yeah.
we can support each other.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
multiculturally, I mean, here we are in America.
Yeah.
This multicultural place where I did this one project called What is an American Today with a small group of students.
Cool.
And we went to little Saigon,
Mhm.
right? And they interviewed. I challenged them to interview young people and some older people. And if the older people didn't speak English, which many didn't, that we asked a younger person to help translate.
Oh, cool.
And they had a short list of questions, right? And then we went to Little Tokyo in downtown LA, and we went to Chinatown, and we went to downtown Santa Ana.
Wow.
And those pockets of California that have maintained their cultural integrity, their heritage.
Yeah.
But they still, I mean, maybe they don't speak English, but they're still part of the fabric of who we are.
Yeah.
And so that was a journey, and for everybody to realize that the Anglo-Saxon Protestant, you know, it's we've been 200 plus years. This, please wake up to the fact that.
Yeah.
We're just really blessed to be here in this place in America because there's so much. Today, Nicaragua, what's happening with the university students and and the churches. It's just we need to help one another.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it's about education. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Totally. There's a quote that I forget who it's by, but it says, "The place God calls you is where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet."
Ooh.
And I totally see that in what you're doing.
Oh, that's it.
You know?
That's the prescription right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your deep gladness is there, and then it's like, this is what the world needs.
And there's, I think Rumi is the poet that, and I'm going to misquote him, forgive me, but it's something to the effect that where the heart is broken, there lets the light in. Something like,
yes.
Have you heard that
I
one?
think I've heard that, yeah.
So, hearts are breaking all over the place, and we need to be that light.
Yeah, totally.
With his help.
Yes. Yeah. It's so true, because it's like, we think like, oh, when we're all put together, that's when, like, it's all good. But
Not good.
not good.
No, we need to have more resilience, right?
Yeah.
Flexibility. That's one of the things of being an ESL teacher, or any teacher probably, but I think that the curriculum has become so strict in American public schools. I hear from friends that I know that they have to teach to the tests, and they have to, you know, the scores, they're based on this on the scores of their kids, and they have to stick to the curriculum rigidly, and they can't deviate and all this stuff, and they can't, you know, touch the children anymore. And it's like, but in our field, you know, of course we respect, and in some cultures, you know, I learned that by mistake. I asked to shake this one young man's hand, everyone's hand at the beginning of class, and just to welcome them and to give them some of me, you know. And this one boy refused to shake my hand, and I said, "It's okay, you know, it's okay."
Yeah.
And he refused, and after class he told me, he says, "In my religion, we're not permitted to touch women."
Whoa.
And I just went, zoop. I just, you know, because I was so insistent, you know, me like, okay. And so respecting that, but other than, you know, we learn sometimes by making errors, of course, but in the ESL field, there's a lot of wiggle room, and you can supplement with multimedia things, and you can develop your own programs and build new curriculum. And so in the course of my career, I built this whole 3-module course called American Culture Through Music.
Ooh,
and it's,
how cool.
And it's actually going to grow up to be a textbook maybe someday.
Fun.
But
That's
it's
amazing.
so awesome because we look at the development of the genre that are uniquely American, from field hollers and shouts and from slave to the spirituals to the blues, and how the blues is the base of, you know, rock and all of that, jazz, so, and how the migration of the music is a reflection of how our culture developed. There's a lot of, like, sociologically, economically, technologically, all of these things. So
that's so awesome. I love that.
So that's another reason why I feel really blessed and happy to be in the field I am.
Yeah. And you're, like, mixing your passion for music with your teaching.
Because I get to sing.
So
and I
cool.
get them up singing.
I love that. That's amazing.
And we even do, like, little routines, like little, you know that Natasha Bedingfield song?
Unwritten?
Yes!
Yes!
So we got this whole thing, and we do this. I am unwritten, can't read my mind, I'm undefined. Yeah.
That's so cute. I love that.
And then they go, standing at the
blank
page before you, open up the dirty window, let the sun illuminate the words that you cannot be, reaching for something in that distance, so close you can almost taste it. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you, only you can let it in.
I love that.
I got goosies.
Yes.
And so many wonderful memories because I've taught that song for years. And it's all about, you are a book that you get to write.
Yeah.
And that's what you're doing right now.
I love it. That's such a good message.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool.
Feel the rain on your skin. It's like wash me clean.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's through the journey that we, like, are washed and we write the story, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a great song.
I know.
Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah. Way to go, girl.
Write some more, would you?
Yeah, I know. Where's she at?
Or no, you're the new up-and-coming singer. You need to write some more. I can't wait to hear your music.
I'm excited.
She's recording an album.
Yes. It's going to be
so
so fun.
I
can't wait.
Maybe I can do some backup with you.
Yes. I would love that. All right, we're organizing it.
Okay.
There's one song where I'm going to have, like, a big chorus.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to be in that. And then we'll do some, like, singular harmonies, you with me. It'll be so good.
That'd be good. Can't wait.
Can't wait. Oh, so fun. So one thing I wanted to touch on was, like, when we were talking earlier, we talked about, you know, God's timing and how you felt like it was a little bit of a journey to get to where you are now, and you feel like this is what I'm meant to be doing. So, like, what does that look like? Do you feel like, you know, I mean, just God's timing, right? It's like we aren't always jumping into what we think we're meant to be doing right at that time. So was teaching something you always wanted to do, or was it just kind of the path that led you there, and then you felt like, oh, God's brought me here in the right time?
Well, like I said, I wanted to be in service.
Mm-hmm.
I knew that.
Yeah.
And so when you have that, when you start with that, like some people are people,
mm-hmm.
people persons.
Yeah.
And some people are more into tech or something else.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a Myers-Briggs temperament typing test. Have you ever taken that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. So that kind of was.
Yeah.
I mean, I already had figured out what I wanted to do, but when I first took that test, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's introvert, extrovert, it's sensing,
what
perceiving. I'm an ESPF. ESFP.
Okay. I'm an ENFP.
Oh.
So we're similar.
Okay, we're very
Yeah.
similar. Yeah. Johnny's an NF.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't taken that, anyway, but it kind of helps you to understand a little bit of why you do the things you do, why you don't do some of the things you don't, you're reticent to do. So people person wanted to be in service. I knew that, whether it was through nursing or teaching.
Yeah.
Or singing.
Yeah.
Because in a way, singing is giving people...
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I sang for a long time while I was in school, and then I chose teaching, but I didn't choose English as a second language. But my mom did.
Okay.
And so she's the one she went around the world 3 times on the semester at sea.
Wow.
She's amazing.
That's so cool.
She's still amazing. But she traveled the world 3 times, and then she ended up teaching in many different places around the world.
Yeah.
And then she landed in San Rafael teaching because she wanted to be near her grandchild. And so that was when she started teaching at Dominican College in San Rafael. And then she called me up, and that was when I was actually getting ready for my big step, my big move. And I was actually going to move up there by her to start something new.
Yeah.
And that was when she said, I don't think this is quite far enough away from what you want to move further from.
Yeah.
So why not Italy? So it was her idea, but she's the one who said, Mitchie, you would love what I do.
Yeah.
You are built for this. And she said it with such conviction, and she knows me better than practically anybody.
Yeah.
Right? She said, why don't you just try it?
Yeah.
And so I think God has a hand in everything.
Yes.
And I listen, of course. I listen to my mother.
Yes.
I love you, Mom.
So
she
sweet.
practically saved my life. I really do, and I know that God had a hand in that.
Yeah.
And so I was vulnerable, didn't know what I was doing, because if you speak English, it doesn't mean you can teach it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole pedagogy and a whole theory behind it, and went on to get my master's in TESOL because I needed the skills, I needed the tools. So education, again, is a big thing.
Yeah.
And then I got my first really good job. And I went in at the interview, and I was like, I'm kind of fearless anyway, but still I had some, And so I went into the interview at Cal State Fullerton because at one point I said, you know what, I need to triple my salary because I was working for $17 an hour at Chapman. And I was like, and I did this transformative training called LifeSpring, which my husband had done, and a lot of our friends, and they said, would you be interested? I said, sure, So I did LifeSpring.
That's
and
awesome.
And during LifeSpring, I wrote this letter to myself, this of accountability, and I said, I want to triple my salary.
Yeah.
And this meant in this many days. So it's like, write it down, declare it. Okay, I'm going to declare that. And in 30 days, I was offered this job that I had tripled my salary. So it's like, this stuff works,
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. I know.
Wow.
Yeah, so interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, but to get that job, I went in and I was just as confident as could be. Not cocky, but confident and authentic. And I said, this is where I see myself.
Yeah.
This is where I want to live in contribution. This is where I see myself working until I can't work anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, and I was authentic. It was like, this is where I want to be.
Yeah.
And I would still be there, but they just closed our program. Administration came in, new administration, and they closed it. So all of us were laid off. So I'm going through a period right now. Yeah. Talk about change. Yeah. Right at this point in my career. So I'm going through it again. Yeah. I'm applying and I'm looking. What's next for me? Yeah. So again, Momo, I'm trusting God. Yeah. And it's given me this summer to paint and travel and
so cool.
Start playing my guitar again.
Yes.
So it's been a beautiful, sort of challenging but beautiful time to kind of look deeper and ask myself, what do I really want? Yes. And I really want to keep teaching. So that I will do that for a number of years because I love it so much. Yes. But it also means maybe not full time, and that's okay. Maybe I can start singing again.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah. So.
But I love that. It's like, it is in those times of change where it's like, what am I going to do? And we kind of want that certainty, but then it helps us to redefine again, like, this is what I really want. and to be able to move forward in it with like even greater passion because we know it's what we want.
And also not being too afraid to reach out and ask for advice, ask for help.
Yeah.
Like, I would like to march right up to Chapman University's international programs and say, I have such a good idea for you guys. But I'm a little bit scared.
You can do it!
I'm putting together a proposal and
That's awesome.
and help them to build a small but mighty program. Because they don't have a language program.
Oh, yeah.
And they're very globally minded.
Oh.
So that's
That'd
my
be
next step.
amazing. Yes.
So that's like, I'm a little bit scared. But it's a good feeling to be a little scared and get yourself
totally
aligned into what you really, you know, with no fears. Like you just have to go for it.
Yes. Coraggio.
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 Yeah.
Exactly. Gotta have the coraggio. I love that. I'm gonna start saying that now. Coraggio. Yeah.
It comes from here.
Right? And I love too just the fact that your mom kind of spoke that into your life. And I think that's so important to really listen to those who know us best because they can give us such good perspective. They see us from the outside, right? And they can help us in that journey of like, hey, you'd be amazing at this, you know? So I think that's a really cool piece of advice too. Yeah. So what would be kind of your last little statement of advice for everyone listening as they're looking to live, you know, a meaningful and passionate and fulfilling life? What is kind of Mishy's words of wisdom?
I just want to cry because I'm so happy that you're doing this. And thank you for inviting me and thank you for asking.
Of course. You're amazing.
I just really want you to seek joy and focus out. I know a lot of what going to school and pondering is about going in, right?
Yeah.
But if you focus out, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Your perspective on things and then also
I love that.
conjure up joy. Conjure joy.
Yeah.
You know, be an alchemist.
Yes.
Find what you need to put together to live in joy. And don't be afraid to be playful about it because I mean I'm a kook. I'm a kid. I'll do things that I practically fall over laughing at. Laugh at yourself, forgive yourself, have coraggio.
Yeah.
And reach out, focus out.
Yeah.
And be in service. That would be my suggestion because
Yeah.
God is in everyone and in everything. And if you reach out, you'll receive.
Yeah.
So don't be
So
afraid to
true.
ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. So good. I'm so inspired. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, honey.
Oh my gosh. You have just such a deep well to share, and I'm so blessed to have you in my life. So blessed to have you on this interview, and I love you.
I love you.
You're amazing. And I love that unwritten song. Feel the rain on your skin.
No one else can feel it. Only you can
Let it in.
No one else can speak the words from your lips.
Put yourself in words wide spoken.
Live your life with arms wide open. Today is where your book begins.
The rest is still unwritten. Thank you for joining us.